Today at Noon Whistle Brewing.
People are coming in saying, I hate IPAs. And you give them one of ours, and they say, this actually tastes pretty good.
I've never tasted a horse blanket.
You're going to try a little bit of it.
No, we're going to try it.
I have access to horse blankets.
Like black
Sample
market horse
them,
blankets?
yeah.
What are you selling them out of the trunk?
We don't want to talk about it, but yeah.
A truck.
There's also some fun Excel, workbooks as well, too. That
You said fun
Cody,
and
for the
Excel
podcast.
at the same sentence.
Yeah.
That might be the
I
first
take that
time.
back. And history and everything is what's fun about beer. And that's why we have a ton of different styles on, because that's the fun part of it for me.
We'll be back in a minute.
And we've only had one beer so far. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Crafty Brewers Tales Behind Craft Beer. We are the podcast that will increase your enjoyment of craft beer and your admiration for the people who brew it. On this episode, we've traveled to Lombard, Illinois to go from grain to glass with Paul Kreiner. He's the co-owner and brewmaster, and Mike Condon, co-owner, and Joe Condon. Nepotism? I don't think so. We'll explain. He is the marketing and creative director of Noon Whistle Brewing. I'm beer drinker and hellraiser Brian Noonan, and all my opinions are strictly my own for good reason. Behind the camera is, of course, our award-winning executive producer and guy with the most beautiful hair in podcasting, Cody
true.
Goff. Cody, while you're picking at your Pilsner glass, what are you excited about for this episode?
I'm excited to talk about iconic hazy IPAs, award-winning amber lagers, and an award-winning wild sour with PTO caucus. Did I get that right? Yeah! Let's go, dude. What kind of amazing taste testing goes into designing the perfect pizza? You'll never believe how much tasting goes on. It's making me hungry. And what is a box? We'll unpack that in this exciting episode.
We'll unpack. Very nicely played.
If it doesn't make sense to you now, you'll
wanna know.
understand in a little bit. Trust me.
Again?
I'm excited for yet another brewery that's very close to my house. But
There
this
you go.
This is actually my neighborhood brewery, and I'm very pumped about it.
Very good. All right. Well, for those of you who don't have this as your neighborhood brewery, that's too bad. Move to Lombard. But Noon Whistle Brewing is at 800 East Roosevelt Road in Lombard. NoonWhistleBrewing.com is their website. This brewery here in Lombard was the original brewery and the production facility. It opened in 2014. Noon Whistle also has their production brewery and a tasting room in Naperville at 1748 West Jefferson in Naperville. That opened in 2020. So I'm here with the guys. Thank you all for being here. If the before show is any indicator of what the show will be, buckle up, folks, because it could be a little wild.
Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome.
appreciate that.
We've been here before. As Cody said, this is his neighborhood brewery. So we're running a little late tonight because he brought the family and they were all eating pizza and drinking beers before. Even
I
his
think that's
children,
our fault,
which
too.
I don't know if that's, whatever. But let's get started with the obvious question, and I'll direct this to Paul. Give us the story behind the name, Noon Whistle, because I think it's a great story.
Sure, yeah. It started with my family, but Mike's family had a yearly vacation as well, too. But we used to go to a town up in Wisconsin called Marquette, Wisconsin, a town of 100 people. There was 40-some people on my mom's side of the family that would go to the same place every year for my entire life. My mom went there her whole entire life. Wow. But there was a bunch of us between 18 and 28 for a few years, and we were getting a little out of hand. So, we were told that we are going to wait till the noon whistle goes off until we start drinking beer. So,
what is the noon? Was it a literal noon whistle?
It is a literal noon whistle, and it's a fun story as well, too. Towns were built on whistles that would go off, some for industrial purposes, but also farm purposes. Back in the day, a lot of people didn't have watches. How did they know what was going on, what time of day it was? So they had a noon whistle that went off at the fire department, which is an on-call fire department, which is now shut down, and not the fire department, but the whistle. And now there's a new whistle that they just incorporated in the town. And it's it goes off, but we would sit there and pull out all the beer and at the pool or on the pier or wherever we were at, and you would hear the cracking of the can at noon. We'd have the cans at 11:59, and noon, all you'd hear is crack, 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 and we start drinking beer.
Very nice.
So, yeah.
And so that's where the name came from. And legend has it that you guys still pour or try your best to pour your first beer at noon here? Or is that just urban legend?
Oh, well, yeah, we open at 11 o'clock here now.
Oh.
Just
and you
because
make people sit for an hour? That doesn't seem like good
let
business.
them order pizza and not drink beer until noon.
Yeah, cola only until, or pop here in Chicago.
But we still have the, at noon, it goes, we open at the Naperville location.
Okay.
So we do let some people, the more responsible people, drink before noon. That's fine. And we started really with session beers, and session beers are now finally coming about, but that's what our whole premise was, is that me and Mike, we drank a lot of craft beer, not so much, but we drank
responsibly.
But you
said that very hesitantly, Mike, but I believe you.
When we were going to family parties and stuff, we could not find an IPA that was lower ABV.
Yeah.
And we were drinking beer, and we didn't want to get hammered. We didn't want to drink 7%, 8%. We wanted to drink a 4 or 5% IPA, or just more drinkable, sessionable beer. Craft beer, and that's how we kind of led into.
Or if we were going to get hammered, we wanted to get at least 13 or 14 of them in us. So
yeah, exactly.
So
let's lower the ABV a little bit.
People are like, "How many did you have? 2? Really?
Right, yeah.
Okay, that's not really good." Well, I wanted to ask you that because I knew that was the original plan. You were going to go for low ABV beers. Obviously, now you have such a wide portfolio. When did that turning point come? Was there a specific incident, or were there moments where you said, okay, yeah, the low ABV stuff that we're brewing is good and people like it, but, some people do want to have 2 beers and be done.
Sure. Yeah. I think we were maybe a little bit ahead of our time, because I remember even a couple of years after we made the switch, somebody's like, what the next big thing is going to be? Session beers. And we're like, get out of here.
We
tried
already
that.
did those.
Yeah. But it was, so it was a full year before we made, let's say, our first beer above 5%.
Correct.
I think it was maybe let's say a year and a half, but it was definitely over a year. We didn't even make an IPA for the first year, because our mindset was like, hey, everybody's making an IPA. Why would we do that? Well, because everybody's buying an IPA. That's why you
wait
make
a minute.
Yeah.
Business.
Right. Yeah. You got to make a buck, I guess. But yeah, so we held out for a while. And then even when we switched, it was still not like our whole portfolio just changed.
Sure.
It was, still majority low ABV. We started, here 1 or 2. Slowly it morphed into more, but today you still can find beers, especially in our tap rooms, easily for 5% or less. And we do it on purpose. And I would tell you this, every beer we do make, regardless of the ABV, one of the biggest things we sit back and say is, would you have another? Would you drink a full pint, and would you have another? Because it's still important to this day that we want it to be something that you'll grab another pint, you'll have another beer, slightly sessionable potentially, but you'll grab for more.
Yeah. So our mentality, I think, maybe have changed from session being ABV to session that, no, I want to have another one. It's not too overwhelming. It's drinkable. It's balanced. Yeah. And that's what we really have prided ourselves on for a long time.
Yeah. There's a good handful of, I think, beers out there in the craft world that you have one. They're great. But are you getting through that second? And we just, we try to make a point not to be that, potentially that brewery. Every once in a while, maybe we have a beer like that. But
that comes up a lot when my wife and I are out at a brewery. There'll be a beer that we really enjoy, but it's like, I can drink one of these. Mm-hmm. And then, obviously for research, I have to have another of something else, but that's a valid point. And do you find to that point that people they're paying attention to ABV, but the main thing is, how does this beer taste? What does this beer make me feel that makes them want to have that second one? Not like, well, this one's only 4, so I guess I'll have another one. Where if they didn't like the taste of it, it wouldn't matter if it was 4 or 12.
To be honest, I don't think there's a lot of people that know what they're tasting when they're drinking beer. Okay. And that's my, that's how I can manipulate like carbonation levels, like different things that I don't think people can think of, right? Like,
is it just
the
that
salt levels,
just
different stuff that, like, is it too salty? Is it, is it the right salt? Is the right amount? And
they know they like it. And, don't get us wrong.
Yes, yeah.
This is a good beer, and it's balanced, but
they don't think of why.
Really get into the nitty gritty of it. That's why you have a brewer.
Exactly.
There's, even the yeast Afterbite or, stuff like that people are tasting still. Now, would they be able to say what it is? No, but I do. And, I think that's my job to make sure that it is drinkable.
You just used a term I hadn't heard anybody use before. Yeast afterbite. What is a yeast afterbite?
It's a sloppy feeling. I mean, when you're not cleaning up when you're not cleaning up a beer, and it is meant to be in some beers.
Okay.
But if you're not truly cleaning up a beer and giving it its time, after that sip, it gets clouded on your tongue. So.
Oh, okay.
So many jokes.
Stay for the behind the scenes when Mike delivers all the off-color jokes. It's going to be a special. You'll have to subscribe.
No.
How did you guys have known each other for a long time, you and Paul?
Couple of years. Yep.
So how did your friendship begin? How did it develop into now you guys have 2 tap rooms? This is the brew pub with the kitchen and you got distribution everywhere. How'd that evolution come?
Yeah. Lockport is where we met. It's where I grew up. Paul started in the city of Chicago. And we have a third partner who is silent now. And
Jim
Cagle. Yep. And so when we started the brewery, it was, all 3 of us. And he moved out to Lockport first from Chicago. They actually lived very close to each other, when they were, basically babies. But Jim moved out in 4th grade. And then Paul, I think you followed the year after, right? Sixth grade. Sixth grade. Okay. Great. Yeah.
Wow.
And then, so we knew each other right then. I would say we started becoming friends, back end of that grade school, that like 8th grade mindset. And then by high school, we were friends. Here we are today. We went to college together. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. College together, lived together. Been friends ever since.
So it makes sense that you would then open a business together.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things, many days sitting on a couch, talking about, having a beer, saying, man, we should open I think the conversation was always a bar.
Yeah.
And then it eventually turned into a brewery. Yeah.
Paul, how did the brewing start for you? Cause I know a lot of guys started home brewing. You were a home brewer, but I was a
home brewer. I worked at a beer distributor for 13 years prior to opening up this business, which got me more into beer. And then I started home brewing about 11 years prior to opening this. So 21 years ago, I started home brewing. And then, I had a lot of friends that would come over and drink it, and I would make way too much of it. I was making way too much of it every weekend. I was trying to give it away, dump it down the drain, and just trying to figure out, I was working on yeast and different things. And then I went to Siebel Institute.
Okay.
And then once I went to Siebel Institute, that's when we took things to the next level. So
most of the brewers who are brewing award-winning beer, which Noon Whistle does and you do, attended Siebel. What is it about that program in particular that is so good at turning out brewers who really know what they're doing?
I mean, there's a lot to it. But I also think that, you go into every aspect of brewing, where with the home brewing, you could read a lot of books and so on and so forth, but I think Siebel does a very good job with just breaking down different segments and, cleaning and, grain and going through every single thing and, and makes you think about it as well too. I mean, I think the final paper that I wrote was what is the most important ingredient in beer. They're all the most important.
I was going to say they're pretty. I'm going to guess. I never went to the Siebel Institute. I have consumed a lot of beer. I'll say water.
There is no right answer, but
trick question.
I mean, without yeast, there will be no beer.
All right, that's true.
But my answer was water.
Oh, okay.
Because I think water is one of the most important things in beer.
Well, do you subscribe? We've heard this a lot. And Joe, you're sitting there, but I will talk to you. You're not being iced out. A lot of brewers say Chicago has the best water for brewing. Would you agree with that?
That's why I think Chicago has the best beer scene by far.
Because of the water.
Correct. Yes. That's what there's been. I mean, that's been for years. There's been breweries that have been set up around, this entire big body of water that we have.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, I'm still manipulating and changing water profiles for different beers. And a lot of breweries are still changing for, if it's a Pilsner or if it's a, if it's a Berliner Weiss or whatever it be, we're still changing, and manipulating the salts and changing the water to where it originated from in the history. But we have the best base water, I think, that we have. And we're still on Chicago water here. And also in Naperville.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So. Would the consumer, as you said, the people who know what they like, but they're not sure why, would we be able to tell the difference if, say, Naperville change to, I don't know, well water or
Yes, and
You
we,
would.
and we're still checking. We're still checking things. Yeah, I mean, I think water is the most important part of beer, to change the flavor and basically make the the base of the beer. 98% of what you're drinking is water.
Yeah, I think if you're a brewer and you move to a different, let's say market, and the water does change that drastically, I think a lot of folks are going to probably look at like reverse osmosis or something where they're going to start from, a baseline, like let's call it 0. And then the brewer itself would build that water back up to what it was that they've been originally, or used to or originally using.
So everybody who thinks you're just turning on a faucet and brewing,
No.
like we do, like the homebrewers do it first, just using their kitchen tap water.
I think there's a lot of homebrewers that get into it, and there's some great homebrewers.
Oh yeah.
too.
Oh no.
You
Once
know,
you
I mean-
do it, I would imagine then you start really honing in. And
No,
that's why.
and like when I was homebrewing, I used RO water, so like that's how I learned
What is RO?
reverse osmosis. So it's basically wiping everything clear. So there's no chlorine, there's nothing in the water at all anymore. And then you're building it back. So now you have to build everything to that specific beer. And there's a lot of homebrewers that do it, and that's really how I learned a lot of the different water profiles. There's also some fun Excel, workbooks as well too that we can use for that. But
Yeah.
it's very important. It's very important to manipulate that.
You
water.
said fun
So, Cody,
and
for the
Excel
record,
at the same sentence.
Yeah.
That might be the
I
first
take
time.
that back.
Yeah.
I was going to let that go because I didn't want to call you out, but
First off, Paul's wrong. It's not water. Like, okay.
wow, yeah. Once he said fun and Excel, then I had to discount everything he had said up to that point. I was like, So, Mike, in 2020, you not only expand this location, you go to Naperville, you open the big production thing and the taste room over there, the production brewery. You had a full kitchen here, and there's been a lot of changes over the last 10 years here at Noon Whistle. What's the evolution been like from the business end, along with the we know the brewing end has changed. What's been the biggest evolution for you? Do you think for
Yeah,
brewing?
well, from a business perspective, the reason for the growth phase was obviously, there was a demand for it. I think, getting out to distribution in a, much more aggressive manner. But then you're saying over the past 10 years too. That was, that's 2020 was when we were opening up the brewery. We had this
Hard
pandemic
time. Yeah.
thing that happened. And, at that moment, thank God we were in distribution because there was a ton of beer being bought. But then since then, the beer scene, drinking habits have changed. So from a business perspective, it's gone, I think, full circle on what it looked like in maybe 2017, 18 when we were going through our planning and growth mode to what it is right now. Still a vibrant craft beer scene, but totally different. Yeah.
Well, distribution has played a big part with you, and that's where marketing comes in. See how I did that, Joe? I kind of just segued right into that. But
Oh, you're all good.
how important was? You guys have marketed wider than a lot, other than like the really big guys. You guys are doing a really good job with distribution. How do you explain that? What is it about Noon Whistle? Not only the product, because we know the beer is good, but the packaging. You were talking about different packaging. You're in Costco. You're everywhere.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, I'll let Joe touch a little bit on branding and packaging because we went through a pretty big facelift over the past just 6 months, year. But just in general, one of our philosophies has always been too. A lot of people, especially here in Chicago, see our distribution, see where we're at, out in the market in stores, and think we have a much farther reach. How many states are you in? Reality of it is we're in 2 right now. We're in Illinois and Wisconsin, and that's part of strategy, part of plan, especially because of the dynamic of how craft beer has changed. But also, we kind of talk about a lot of times, go deep, not necessarily wide. Build your roots, etc. Illinois is a market that, we really want to do really well in. Chicagoland is something that, we want folks to know our brand and recognize it wherever you are. So that's been really important from a development standpoint. And a lot of that does come into the branding and the marketing. And that's one reason why we brought Joe on. How long have you been with us now, Joe?
I think this is like my 5th year.
Yeah.
Wow.
That seems a little aggressive, but maybe
Is it 4?
Yeah, but it was,
it 4?
It's been I don't know either, but that's why I asked. But
Nobody knows.
Go on.
Like, nobody
it
knows.
seems like he's been here forever.
Forever,
Is it
yeah.
4?
Yeah. So we recognize that we want it a little more, I don't know, let's call it juice into the brand, the fun into the brand. And we were able and lucky enough to get Joe to come aboard and he can, we tried once.
Oh, really?
We did try once. It's a whole different story. He said no.
Wow. And you still offered him another chance?
Well, we got him. We lured him in. It
I'm
took
kind of like a hot commodity, I guess.
Wow, you are a big deal, Joe.
I guess.
I should have treated you with more respect at the beginning of the interview. I apologize. That was, wow, my faux pas. Where were you before that made you such a big deal?
Well, so I was at Microphone before Noon Whistle, and we had a little bit of a sort of bidding war for me. Basically, is kind of what it came down to.
And Mike couldn't match the Noon Whistle bid. Wow, Mike, come on!
He dipped his toe in the water.
Sure, he did.
He dipped his toe, but I think honestly, I just wanted to be here anyways.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when you got here, you know, you heard Paul, you heard Mike. They wanted to change things up, bring some fun, bring some things. What was the biggest challenge with what Noon Whistle was doing from a branding standpoint that you confronted? Because the product is good, but the product can be really good, and if your branding and marketing is not good, suddenly you got a lot of beer on the shelf.
Honestly, I feel like you guys did a great job, the designers that you guys worked with before I came along did a great job of branding Noon Whistle. So it was kind of really nice to step in and have this like super solid foundation, have a whole design toolkit, kind of like ready to rock and roll. Like that's kind of like the more professional level graphic design is like, okay, we actually have fonts and Pantone colors and like a general like design sense or like specific things that, that we do when we design stuff. And I think that was something that was really nice when I started here, honestly. There was a lot of that sort of stuff already in place. So it was really easy to just take that as like a big lump of clay and start hacking off pieces off of it, basically. Yeah. Nice. Changing stuff and
okay, so this is one of your designs.
Well, yeah, we did want to talk about this a little bit. So this is we do a lot of little mock-ups here. Yeah, we do like a lot of tiny little like mock-ups here.
But yeah, before anything rolls to the market, we do the little mock-up, baby case.
We do a tiny little mock-up.
Very nice.
And it just kind of helps you make sure all your panels are in the right direction, any obvious typos, and just it gives you like a lot better sense of, because like I could just send you a flat file that's completely unfolded, and it's just like, okay, like how does that actually work?
Going to see this is what when you walk into the store, and this is for Costco,
and just as a designer,
that will be
totally. So yeah, Costco, keep an eye out. As a designer, it's super helpful to have this like tiny little mock-up because you're just like seeing how everything folds together. Basically, you're taking this like super complicated like little piece of artistic origami and actually seeing it in real life is super helpful.
Very nice. All right, it is time for a quick break. When we come back, Cody, do you have a question?
For the audio listener, can you describe the box?
For the audio listener, it's a box.
It's yellow.
Yeah, it says juicy, green. Hazy, hoppy. Yeah. So it is. How many beers will be in this box?
There'll be 3 featured.
3 featured. So it's a little the baby. So that's why it's called the baby case. So there'll be a box of 3.
Well,
no, that's what I'm asking. I was like, what?
3 featured beers. 20. It's a 24 pack.
24 pack. That's what we're going for.
That'll be offered.
Pack.
I do like the idea of a little 3-pack.
At Costco, where you're used to buying like toilet paper by the pallet.
Yeah, we credit Mike for that. He sold him a 3-pack. It's great.
Man, that's business right there. Yeah. Listen, we're gonna bring it in. Oh, how many are going to be in there? 3. It's unique. Yeah. Go with me.
Totally
You're going to like it. You're going to like this. It's multicolored. The hop is many beautiful colors. What was the thinking behind the color scheme, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, we just wanted something that... Oh, sorry. We just wanted something that really stood out on the shelves at Costco and looked really
It
unique.
does pop nicely.
We kind of really use like this basic color scheme in a lot of different stuff, actually. The actual colors on the hop are taken from designs that we've done in the past for like specific beers.
Very
So
cool.
that's just kind of the idea behind it.
And again, for the audio listeners, it's a box. So picture a box and then take all the things Joe just said describing the box, put them together in your head. Mwah. Chef's kiss of a picture.
Current size, you would think only 3 beers would be in it, but actually it will have 24.
I've learned it's not going to be a 3-beer pack at Costco.
And it has-
which is a little upsetting.
And it has 6 sides. Box.
It is rectangular.
It's rectangular.
Not cubicle.
Well, listen, Cody, if our listeners haven't bought a 24-pack of beer before, they're probably underage and really shouldn't be listening to this program.
It's a standard 24
Standard 24-pack. You know, you got the little pop-up handle on the top.
24 cans
Put
of
your feet-
beer always make the same size.
Yeah, it's, you know.
basically.
I just want to see how long we can talk about a box.
Oh, we can keep going.
How long do you want to go?
How many brewers does it take to
Should we
describe
get
a box?
into the detailed description of why it's so important for everything to match up on the sides that we were talking about before?
Well, you already did that. So
No,
we're-
we did that before the show.
Are you guys saying you like my tiny little box?
That is correct. Yes.
I wouldn't have said it in those words, but you know that's what I would have
Oh, hey,
meant.
we're at a
packaging.
time.
Are
Oh.
you-
Just talking about my packaging.
Your package is also small? Wait, what? How did that, Cody, what's happening here?
We got to take a break.
And the
We
cans
gotta-
don't need to match up.
We're just like swiftly.
I'm noticing the girth on this box doesn't really hold a can either. That's
And it's
are you
time
selling,
for a break.
Are you selling little juice
get a little
boxes?
vein on the side.
So, wow, that was... We're at Noon Whistle Brewing, 800 East Roosevelt Road in Lombard. Come in. Leave your inhibitions at the door. Come in, enjoy yourself, noonwhistlebrewing.com. You'll get all the information on this location and the Naperville tap room. When we come back with Paul Kreiner, Mike Condon, and no relation Joe Condon, Mike's like, please make sure they know no relation.
I want everyone to know.
Far from the family tree, that other Condon.
Yeah.
Too many, a lot of Condons in one room.
Do actually a side by side.
I think people can see you.
Oh, no.
We're on camera.
No. I think he was going to say one of his relatives and mine, they look really similar.
Dude, seriously.
Like a
Or me
sword
and him.
fight?
Yeah. No, not us. Really.
Like what?
We're going to do a 23andMe after the break.
Ah, dude, let's do it, Mike.
We're going to scrape
Mike,
the DNA.
Honestly, we got to do it.
We're
Like, honestly, dude.
I will. Let's do it. Yeah.
When we come back,
You are not
it's
the
Brewer's
father.
Choice. Maury
get
Povich's
that.
ghost will join us.
I kind of forgot about it, but we got to get to the bottom of that.
I agree.
We got to get to the. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. There's gonna be a part 2.
All of that and more when we come back on this episode of Crafty Brewers. Some sort of tales with craft beer. I don't know what they all are. We'll be back in a minute.
And we've only had one beer so far. Stay tuned.
Oh, God.
That took a turn.
Welcome back to Crafty Brewers Tales Behind Craft Beer. We are in Lombard, Illinois at Noon Whistle Brewing Company, 800 East Roosevelt Road in Lombard, noonwhistlebrewing.com. If you're in the Naperville area, stop by their tasting room outside their big production center. That's at 1748 West Jefferson in Naperville. Same website, so you can get all the information. You don't have to go jotting and jumping here and there. I'm with Paul Kreiner. I don't know.
Jotting?
I had a brain fart.
How many beers have we had, guys?
I've not enough. I got them stacked up here like they're in a holding pattern at O'Hare. I got to start drinking. You don't have to go anywhere else. Noonwhistlebrewing.com. That's what I meant to say. Paul Kreiner's here. He's co-owner. He's the brewmaster. Mike Condon is here. He's a co-owner. And Joe Condon, no relation. He's here. He's the Joey Jardinera.
Yeah.
You may know him as that. Obviously. To who? To you. Obviously. Like everybody's like, oh. I said we're going to Noon Whistle Day. You're going to talk to Joey Jardinera?
right there.
What? I don't know. Joey Jardinera is the creative and marketing director here at Noon Whistle Brewing. You guys, this has been outlandishly fun so far. We are here now. We're going to talk a lot about beer because that's why we're here. We're in a beautiful barrel room, but we'll get to barrels and talk about that. But it is the Brewer's Choice. So you have brought out a beer for Brewer's Choice. Yep. What are we having?
We are drinking Hop Prism Blue.
Hop Prism Blue,
which is our version of a West Coast IPA.
Okay.
But I definitely changed it up a little bit. I have a take on, and I don't hate, but a Midwest IPA. I don't know if I like that, but
we sometimes call it American IPA.
American IPA, yeah, but
because you're patriots, Mike. That's what I like.
We are
very patriotic.
Actually, it's the 250th year next year for the U.S. of A.
Anniversary.
Correct. And the blue is the color of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there's also red and white. I don't know what.
Well,
flag
no,
you're talking
but,
about.
yeah, but,
are we in Greece? No, this is blue.
But
I guess we got to come up with a red and white.
Yeah, that's and actually we
Prism
are
red, white, and blue IPA.
We are actually
hold
on.
It's not going to be a singular beer, but we will have a red, white, and blue pack coming out next year.
Mini case?
Mini case.
Cody, that's also going to be a box.
Yeah, in a box.
How many sides?
None of your business.
One reason why we want to talk about this beer is because I think we'll say it's one of the most underestimated beers in our portfolio.
Oh,
I think it's also one that, from the beginning to where it's at now has changed a lot to the better. And also, we're going to be featuring Hop Prism next year, especially in the Hop Prism red, white, and blue pack.
Very nice. Yeah. Now, everybody's heard about West Coast IPAs, which are usually a little more, I'm using a brewer term, dank and bitter. I hadn't heard Midwest IPA. What's a Midwest IPA?
So we don't call it like American IPA, but what I came to a conclusion for myself, and I think that's where I start first is, do I like the beer? Do I like it? Would I like to present it? Do I like West Coast IPAs? Do I like regular IPAs? Yes, I do. But the bitterness catches up to a lot of people. And once again, going back to what we talked about in, the first session is drinkability.
Right.
So, there's a lot of people, and we started making a ton of hazies, and people were loving our hazies, and they still love our hazies, but they were, so they like that style.
Yep.
I still think they like IPAs, but yet let's meet in the middle. So let's have some bitterness, but let's have the clarity. Right. Let's make an IPA. Aroma, flavor, everything tastes great, but let's not have that dank and after that bitterness at the end, at the end of it. So let's make it drinkable.
Well, I'm one of those guys who I like hazies.
Yep.
The West Coast, some of them do tend to be too bitter. This does not have, like you said, it doesn't have that bitterness. You get all the hop essence. You get the flavors.
It's drinkable.
Yes.
Take out how many IBUs can we get, competition and just come up with something really.
So how does that work? How do you still maintain the hop flavors and aromas and the essence of the hops without getting that bitterness in there?
We push a lot more of the hops instead of the beginning of the boil. We put it at the end of the boil and we dry hop heavier.
Okay.
So you get a lot more of the aroma. Some of the bitterness will still come through, but you're not getting that bitterness that is almost, it can get, cottony on people's mouths or on their tongues. And it's almost overwhelming. And, and it's what I think people don't like about IPAs. For a long time when we're starting to get into hazies and we were getting, more and more IPAs and we had more IPAs on draft, people were coming in and saying, I hate IPAs. And you give them one of ours, and they say, holy shit, this actually tastes pretty good.
I hate IPAs and holy shit.
Yeah, see?
But actually, seriously.
Cody's very susceptible to marketing.
There you go.
Thank you.
It's good.
Got him.
And that's
you hooked them
because
he's in.
Because when you say hops, people get afraid right away.
Yeah.
They don't want that, but also they want fruitiness, they want flavor, they want drinkability, they want dryness, they want what they're drinking in other beers, but that's how this came about is that, and really the Hop Prism program came about. It was a big program. We were doing a lot of different Hop Prism pink and
Flamingo
yellow.
Yeah. No, Flamingo pink.
I was going to say
no, Flamingo pink. Hold on. And then laser yellow.
yellow.
Yeah.
We were doing all different colors. And really what it represented was, holy cow, how many flavors can we come up with in a IPA series, right? The Prism. then there's endless flavors that we can come up with.
And that's all from the hops, correct?
All from the hops. It's the same base.
So so each color there was a different hop profile,
Okay.
and that was our way of us to just express the uniqueness of all the hops too. The different flavors you can get just from different hops, and it was fun, and it still is, and that's one reason why next year we really wanted to feature, not only from a patriotic standpoint, it's a great opportunity for let's call it marketing and sales, distribution. Here we go, but also hey, we got 3 beers that we can have different hop profiles in, and that's pretty fun, just from a craft and drinking perspective.
Well, that's not the only beer that you do a kind of series like this. Your gummy IPAs, which are your East Coast IPAs, also have a myriad of different flavors and things. Right. How do you decide what those are going to be, and what is it basically the same kind of idea, different style, but it all comes down to the hops?
It does ultimately come down to the hops, but we do use some different grist, some different malts that we do. And that's just to play around with it a little bit, to change a little bit of the color to make one look a little bit more orange or a little bit more, blonde. And we do change that. Where this series we don't, but with the gummy series, we definitely, change it. We change it up. With hops as well as the malt grist as well.
And you have a few of them on tap all the time.
Correct. Yeah.
But then there's a lot that rotate in.
Yeah.
Out of all the ones you've done, how hard was it to choose? Okay, these are the 3. Obviously, you're going to listen to your patrons to a point. These are the 3 that we're going to keep all the time. But then the series is going to continue with this and this and this and this.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely been some front runners, and we've always kept them around. Gummy Apocalypse, like we have here, which is in a can, 19.2, tall for all the people that are listening out there. It's yellow on top, black.
Very nice.
You got to find it at your local grocery store.
You have to read it, Cody.
But no, I mean, but really, our consumer told us a lot of what they liked, and that's how we made the seasonality of it, right? I mean, so
yeah, we have we're lucky, I guess, to say that we have 2 different tasting rooms, brew pub, if you will, and one that we get to sample, and it's a testing ground to all these different beers that we make. So we first and foremost, what's selling good here, and that's things that we start to think about rolling out into the market.
Are you finding a big difference between your Lombard customers and your Naperville customers, or are the tastes kind of similar?
It's pretty similar, but we have hazier drinkers here more than our IPA drinkers here. In Lombard. Naperville has less hazy beer drinkers and clearer beer.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah,
it's very
it's
close,
still very
but
similar. Yeah, I mean, I think, and we're going to probably touch on it a bit too. I mean, this is a great example of our beer Bruski and why it came and went to the market. But I mean, we can hit on that in a minute or later. But it was the tasting room. We wanted to come up with a lager and something different for our tasting room, and lo and behold, it started selling really well. So that is just a testament to what we can learn just from these 2 locations.
Well, I do want to ask that, but I have one more question about the Hop Prism program.
Sure.
So are everything in that series, is it the same thing where the bitterness is reduced? So you'll get a different flavor because of the hops. You'll get different aromas and stuff, but you're still not going to get that overpowering West Coast bitterness.
Correct. If we do an IPA that is that bitter, we definitely will not put it in the Hop Prism series. And we really, just to differentiate it. But we do other IPAs, and I still like very dank IPAs, but it needs a different name. We need to keep it out of its own out of this category. So,
because people expect if they're going to have a Hop Prism, this is the amount of bitterness I can expect.
100%. Sure.
All right, let's talk about Bruski, because I love amber ales and amber lagers, and I've been drinking this one prior to the show and during the show. This is Bruski. This is your amber lager, gold medal winner at the World Beer Cup in 23.
Yes, 23. Yes,
that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Well,
that is correct, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate a little backup. Cody he's like, I don't know. You do the research. I don't know. So 23.
I'm drinking. There's enough of you guys.
We finally made you an IPA drinker. I love it.
Yeah. There's 4 of you. You can figure it out. I ain't me.
So what you mentioned? What was it about feedback, and what this seems like a dumb question, but that's what I'm here for, to ask dumb questions so other people feel smarter. Difference between an amber ale and an amber lager. And what makes this one so good that it won a gold at World Beer Cup?
Well, that's a great question. That's left for the judges. But first of all, let me tell you.
Well, they must have given you some feedback. Here you go, Paul. Take the medal.
I was always told there's no dumb questions.
Oh, well.
There's
Really?
just dumb people that ask questions.
Hey. And that's all tonight, folks.
Wow.
No.
Thanks for joining us on this edition of Crafty Brewers Tales Behind. I don't know why I get the hate. I'm just trying to.
I'm just kidding. We love you.
I know. Stop.
But so I mean, this started from I love amber lagers as well, but
So that's an amber lager.
it's an amber lager.
Yeah,
Yep.
he was just
I said I liked
he
amber
did
ales
say
and
what's the
lagers.
difference between an ale and a lager first and foremost.
Amber lager and what?
All right, Joe. I know I haven't asked
amber
you a lot
ale.
of questions. Relax.
There's
Jumping in.
an amber ale is going to be not as clean. It's going to take a lot less time to make. Different yeast, and it's going to be a lot more on your palate. Where this is a lot easier to drink.
Yeah.
And it really
Still got that clarity, even with that nice copper color.
Yeah, and it's a differentiator, especially with a lager.
I always think there's a little bit like to say just a crispness to a lager versus an ale. Even though they're both easy to drink and clean, one's cleaner and crisper.
So what was it about, you said that your customers, your beer drinkers, kind of spurred you along to bring one of these out?
Well, you brought up our hazies earlier, and that's really what put us on the map when we were, a small brewery, really getting going. And we started making hazy IPAs here in Chicagoland. And I think we would argue and say we were maybe one of, or the first to have a hazy IPA in Chicago. But not ever, just in Chicago.
The first one he ever had.
Oh, good.
Give me the microphone.
First hazy IPA I ever had was from Noon Whistle Brewing.
When he didn't work here.
Yes, thank you.
I didn't work here.
But with that being said, so that's like primarily, people would come in, let's say they had 3 beers, 2, 3 were probably hazy IPA. We always had a multitude of different styles on draft, and that's another talking point to our brewery itself, is like we never really wanted to be one type, like known for just one type of beer or one beer in general. If that happened, so be it. But we always kind of want to be like, hey, Noon Whistle, I know they just have good beer. Yeah. So we always try to continually making different styles, different beers. And this is one in particular that, Paul wanted to make. Paul was really excited to make. He was proud of when it came out. We put it on draft, and next thing you know, it slowly but surely we started realizing that it was starting to compete with the hazy IPAs from a sales perspective. Yeah. And at times we would pull, sales, and that it would be the number one beer that was actually pulled for the weekend. And we're like, wait a minute, okay, like the hazy IPA that we, our gummy series, what we're known for, all of a sudden is getting beat by this amber lager. We're like, okay, there might be something here. Yeah. And eventually we rolled it out to the market. We started entering competitions, and lo and behold.
So what is it like for a brewer and for a brewery in general when you take a beer like this, and we're going to talk about another award-winning beer in a minute, but when you take Bruski to the World Beer Cup and it wins a gold, from a personal perspective, what does it mean to you? And then as a brewery, what does it mean? And what does the marketing then, does marketing put a big push? So a lot of facets to this question.
I mean, it was overwhelming. I mean, like that one in particular was shocking. It was, it was.
You must have known it was good, but what was it that shocked you?
We knew it was good. I'm going to just say, I'll let him keep talking because this is for him, but just at the award ceremony, like that was the last category we had that we had a beer, still could win. I think half of us got up and went and got another beer and got some food. And then the other, maybe 1 or 2 were still sitting at the seats, and we didn't even know we won for a half second. Cause we truly didn't expect it. Especially we always have hope for our IPAs, but here's this lager. We didn't expect it.
I was lucky enough, to go back farther before we opened the brewery. I was lucky enough to go brew it with the head brewmaster of Pilsner Urquell.
Wow.
Vaclav Burkhoff. He was the 5th generational brewmaster, and I was able to hang out with him for a week and talked to him. I couldn't talk to him, but we had a translator, and it was fun. And like I wanted to take that beer. That beer meant something to me.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it was a little bit more emotional to me, because it was something that, like, holy shit, like I was engulfed with, a head brewmaster that's his whole family it's all they made. And I tried to make a beer after him, and now I won a World Beer Cup. Like, holy shit.
Not too
like,
shabby.
pinch me, like, really? Like, God. And, and it wasn't impersonating it. It was like my own style of it, my own thing. And like it was very emotional. It was awesome. And
I think being a lager, as well, I think meant a lot to Paul and just, our other brewer at the time. And when we were walking up to get the award, those guys in particular, obviously this is their beer. They made it. Paul put this together. You just looking at them, you could see it on their face. They were really excited. And that's like the moment you're like, okay, this is kind of why we do this.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool.
We picked the right business. Yeah. We're doing all right. Yeah. That's excellent. Now we're going to move on to another medal winner. But the first question is, we've talked to a lot of brewers who get very nervous when the topic of wild fermentation comes up. This beer right here, Funderen, won silver medal at this year's FOBAB, the Festival of Wood and Barrel Aged Beer. It is a wild fermented beer. Yep. What is it about that method that you've embraced? Tell us about this, and then who's wearing the medal?
Oh yeah,
we've got a lot of questions here.
Yeah, sure.
So let's talk about wild fermentation first. Because what I've heard, what we've heard from other brewers is that yeast can get crazy and just like jump around.
Sure. Yeah.
And not like House of Pain.
It's not House of Pain.
It's not House of Pain. But
that would actually be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. All right. So
that's where we were going.
So I guess with wild fermentation, that's where I think a little bit more fun, a little bit more. It's you're taking cultures of bacteria, and wild bacteria that you want, and you're creating different flavors from that bacteria. And bacteria might sound gross, but essentially that's all you're doing is I'm taking Lactobacillus, Brettanomyces, Pediococcus, and I'm picking different cultures and I work closely with Omega Yeast, and I said, this is kind of what I'm looking for. And they were able to guide me in different ways. We got a foeder in 2020 during the expansion here. We just recently got a foeder, and I was able to work through and pick 3 different Brettanomyces, which is going to give you more of the barnyard, different. It's not going to give you the sourness. Horse blanket, it's going to give you a more complex flavor to it.
We've heard that description before. Yep. I've never tasted a horse blanket. So I've never.
You should try.
You're going to try a little bit of it.
No, we're going to try it. And I guess, but Cody, have you ever gone to a stable and licked a horse's blanket?
That's all I do.
Oh, that's
why
true.
else would you go to a stable?
I don't know.
I would like to say I have access. I have access to horse blankets if anyone needs to,
like black
sample
market horse
them.
blankets.
Yeah.
What are you selling them out of the trunk?
We're not talking about.
We don't want to talk about it, but yeah.
A truck.
Selling them out of your IROC? What's? All right. So, all right.
So I mean, but it's more of like a.
I like the delayed response, Mike. Thank you. You take that joke home. Let it rest.
So I guess you're taking like a lager, right? Like Bruski is a lager. It's clean, crisp, refreshing. Now you're taking a wild fermented beer, which can go multiple different ways, and all the barrels around us, these all have wild, different cultures, different things in there, different beers. And a lot of them could suck. They're horrible.
How easy it for things to go bad.
It's like, that's why you're going to pay more money for wild fermented beers. And because a lot of these will suck, right? Like and we're
it's
picking
true.
through and we're blending. We're doing different things with this. And it's not like our intentions, but also you have to try different cultures. You have to try different things to try to get it. And what leads up to it is a whole nother story. But when we did this, we pitched 3 different Brettanomyces, 2 Pediococcus and 1 or 1 pediococcus, 3 Brettanomyces, and 2 lactobacillus.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
And a partridge in a pear tree. And it's Christmas time almost. So it's lovely. It's a lovely story. And honestly, we did it, and it takes a lot of time. And it was a year.
Okay, so
it was a year and 32 barrels of beer, which is a lot of beer.
Yeah.
It's a risk. And it sucked for a year. It was very thin. Yeah, I didn't want to add pediococcus. I didn't want to add certain things, but pediococcus will give it that
You
more.
love saying pediococcus.
I know,
because it sounds filthy.
It's-
It just sounds
but-
so dirty.
It's kind of weird. Yeah.
It's
is.
truly what. So we were tasting the lacto, we were tasting the Brett, but we were not tasting the pediococcus. I said it again. See, I'm gonna keep saying it.
Oh, I got you. Listen, I'm marking it down.
Pediococcus
Bing.
things it up, dude.
Yeah, and actually, no, really. I mean,
Gives it a
what?
delicious mouthful.
No, it gives it a oilier and more mouthful flavor,
Like a more
and
viscous-
it's a viscous. Yeah, and it gives it a different texture.
What were you going for? What was like in your mind? What was the goal where you said, okay, this at this point, to use your words, it sucks. It's too thin.
Yep.
What was?
I was going
What
for.
did you envision?
I was going for a very drinkable blonde ale blonde ale that tasted tropical.
Okay.
And really,
With a
I think this tastes
bit of a horse
pineapple.
blanket.
With a blanket.
Yeah.
Wrapped
Yeah,
in it.
I get a lot of pineapple. I mean, a lot of wine people really, will go to this type of stuff because they're used to more complex textures and flavors, and and really that's what I was going for.
It's almost like a wine.
Yeah, it's very
Yes, it does have a very wine
correct.
feel to it.
Shall we try it?
Yeah,
Yes. I still
Wait,
don't.
let's just get the nose first, dude.
Oh, here we go. I can't see. This is every,
No, I mean-
every episode. I have to say I don't have a sense of smell.
You don't?
Oh no.
How do you taste?
I tell.
80%
Why do
of-
you think I'm here?
I'm the face of the podcast. Cody's the nose of the podcast.
The nose
so that everything
knows.
tastes like lagers to you. That's
No, I can.
It's all coming
I
together.
can taste.
Sense of taste.
I can taste this. These are all of these are vastly
No
different.
sense of smell.
No sense of smell. So this one, I like. To me, it does remind me of a white wine.
Yeah.
And so it's
It reminds me of like my days on the farm,
Yeah.
working the horses.
Really, what kind of horses were you working that tasted like this? Some sort of French stallion that was just walking around in his little blanket and beret.
No, I mean, but to bring it all together, though,
Yes,
truly what brought me into beer and what I love about beer is tradition and culture and where does it come from and what did they have to use to make this beer, right? Or any beer, right? And they all come from a space. Even a hazy IPA came from someone that was trying to make something that was thicker and juicier, and and it came from a spot.
Yeah.
And history and everything is what's fun about beer, and I want to engage people with that. That's why we have a ton of different styles on, because that's the fun part of it for me.
And that's what you use this tap room now, which was the original one, the one in Lombard. That's where you use for small batches and experimental and all the fun things that you want to try
Correct.
while you're making the big batches
Yep.
in Naperville and sharing them between the two places.
Yeah. I mean, the fun thing about it with Paul and his passion for beer, I mean, he's the one that got me to even try these type of styles,
Yeah.
like something sour, and I'd be like, get out of here. This is, I mean, and truthfully, I don't know if I really liked it from the get go. And he kept introducing me to ones that he liked, and eventually there was a couple that clicked, and I was like, okay, I get it now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's only I'd say because of his passion for something like this. The reason why I even tried it from the get go, we were a couple guys that we used to try a lot of different beers. I mean, in college, we were the only kids that were going to the one little weird sidebar that you only played vinyl records and then had like a couple imported beers on,
Sierra Nevada Pale Ale
and Le Fin de Man,
Findemon,
and the one with
the pink elephant.
yeah,
Delirium.
Delirium,
Tremens.
yeah.
And that's what we drink in college.
Yeah. Well, we could
What we
afford
could
like
afford,
one at a
yeah,
time,
yeah.
and then we go over. Yeah.
Then we go to the slosh, but
Yeah.
Then you get your 12-pack of Old Milwaukee.
But
I mean,
Keystone Light actually.
It wasn't
but
like we were
Light.
trying. We
Wow.
weren't trying
Shit.
stuff. Is I guess my point. But it really took someone like Paul to say, "Hey, like there's other things out there
Yeah.
that we haven't even gotten to yet, and you should try it." So it's fun.
It's got to be fun as a brewer to see people have that awakening. Now, while some styles they'll try, that style's not for me, but this one is a different style than I had, and this is something that I really. So it's got to be to watch people's tastes evolve and just to open their minds and their mouths to try something new.
Yeah, exactly.
So Bernie is wearing the medal.
Who is wearing your FOBAB medal?
So that's our biggest supporter, Bernie.
Bernie.
So that was our milk stout, and that's my father.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Bernie.
Cheers, Bernie.
Cheers,
Bernie's immortalized
cheers, Bernie.
Here at the thing, and Bernie gets the honor of wearing the 2025 FOBAB silver medal. Now so we are surrounded by barrels.
Sure.
You said a lot of these are, the wild fermentation stuff, but you guys do a lot of barrel aging too.
Sure.
How has that program evolved, and how important in this day and age is a barrel program to Noon Whistle?
I mean, I think it is important, but also it's scary. Our barrels are a lot older, and they're a lot more developed. And I think that's when it becomes a lot more fun. We can have a lot more different things. We could do a lot more things with it.
Okay.
Our first barrel aged beer was, Bob Ross did it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah. Sorry.
legally
No,
can't say
no,
that. Sorry.
no.
Take that off. Take it off. Now it's called
Rob Boss did it.
Rob Boss.
because we were sent a letter.
See, you see what we did there?
I do. I like the legal workaround. Is that marketing and branding, Mr. Giordano?
But I mean, the all reality is like people would ask, like, "Well, how did you make this barrel aged beer?" And I'm like, honestly, like just in brewing, I'm not making the beer. The yeast is making the beer.
Right.
I'm making the right space, and I'm making the right space, and I'm making the best environment for it to become beer. Same thing. Once I put it in the barrel, I have no clue what's going to happen.
Okay.
But I'm going to buy that bourbon barrel. I'm going to buy that tequila barrel. I'm going to buy that. I'm going to buy this, and I'm going to fill it, and I'm going to make the best environment for it. But what's going to happen is what happens in the barrel.
Yeah.
And I always told people, like, Bob Ross did it. Rob Boss did it. Rob Boss did it.
Rob
Rob Boss did it.
Oh boy.
And Rob Boss is doing his work. I'm not doing anything.
No.
And then because like it's not me. I'm not doing. I'm putting it in there.
Put the stuff.
But that's it. The
Just so
barrel
we're
is doing
clear, Rob Boss is not associated with Bob Ross.
Not at all. I wouldn't have even thought it unless you brought it up. Mike.
Wait,
I didn't
sorry.
So you mentioned that your barrels are older.
Sure.
So you can reuse them because I know when they sell the bourbon barrels, they can only be single. Like bourbon barrels can be single use, but then when you get them,
We can use them.
Use them over.
We
and
don't
over,
for when we say they're bourbon or anything like that. We do not reuse them, but we then they go into our sour program.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They go into our sour program, or we'll sell them off or anything like that.
Okay.
But then it's done. We don't use it. We don't reuse it. Actually, we reuse it for one beer, and that is for our Face Mac bourbon, and it's and it's a sour that will actually still take out the bourbon character.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. Cody, you had the s'mores, what was it?
The BA s'more.
BA s'mores. S'mores nuts?
S'more nuts.
S'more nuts.
S'more nuts.
This place.
S'more nuts. S'more nuts. Yeah, not s'mores. S'more.
S'more nuts.
Yeah.
I want s'more nuts.
Yeah. It's very good.
That's what she was drinking.
Yeah. Oh,
Come on, fellas.
no.
I did have this normal. I had the other Imperial Stout you do as well. The
Which one's on
I
draft?
don't even know.
Well, we do have 30 beers on draft.
No, you do. Which
Well, I had one of the other ones that was on draft, but they were both like really, really good. So that's my beer style, is barrel aged stouts. And like, it's so funny when I hear you guys talk about like kind of like the hazy put you on the map, or you so many breweries have said, like, oh, this is most popular beer. This is the big beer. And like, to me, like, they're never the beers that I drink. Like, I show up at a brewery, I look for the barrel-aged stouts any time of year, and I'm like, give me that. And I completely judge the brewery on that. So we've been to places that are like, oh, we have this award-winning IPA. And I'm like, I don't drink that. I don't like your barrel-aged stout. It's bad. And then I'm like, I'm just done with that brewery. Your barrel-aged stouts are really good. As soon as the server found out how much I liked it, he's like, you can buy bottles, actually. And
Good for them.
they're actually
that was
not.
the first thing when I
Yeah.
came in. I said, what are you drinking, Cody? He goes, s'more nuts. He goes, and you can get them in individual bottles. I was like, All right, I'm down. Let's.
I'm literally going. I said I'm like I'm not leaving without some of these. Like they're so good. So, do you find like we've talked to a couple other brewers about how because barrel aged stouts kind of were born in Chicago or like really made great in Chicago. Do you feel like every brewery kind of has to do it to be like a cool Chicago brewery, or were you going to do it anyway? Or like, I guess, how did you approach thinking about getting into barrel aging?
Fun fact about Paul, he doesn't like stouts. Yeah. I don't like stout. I don't like desserts. I don't like chocolate. I don't like desserts. So hence why do I like a stout?
You made a s'more stout.
I know.
And it's good.
It's not to say that I don't. It's not. Yeah.
That was kind of my idea.
The s'more stouts was his idea.
I'll say this. So our stouts have changed and developed a little bit as well. I think, just to appeal maybe or to some of the palates of the stout drinkers, they've gotten a bit sweeter. And maybe a little bit more desserty that Paul doesn't like. I would tell you that one of the things, hazy IPAs put us on the map. One of the things that I feel like sometimes we would get knocked with our stouts, especially early on and still sometimes to this day. A lot of people would be like, there's a lot of booze character to these. There's like, it's very boozy. He likes that. So that's what the brewer is making that. I mean, his whole mantra was like, I'll make a big stout, but if I'm going to put it in a barrel, it's a bourbon barrel. I want to taste the bourbon too.
Yeah.
So
we would, sometimes we would sit them a lot longer than other people would sit them. We wouldn't make them quite as sweet. So some of that booze, that alcohol would shine through a little bit more. So, we were always going to do them, probably to your point. And, we're here in Chicago and that's a big style that people like. But I don't know if we've always did them exactly like everybody wanted. But
That's impossible.
But I mean, and then hence that's why, just because I don't like it doesn't mean that I can't appreciate that other people don't like it. But hence that's why I
do like it.
Yeah. But that's why I use other people's palates that can appreciate that.
But that's why I think therein the beauty lies of the Noon Whistle stouts, because Paul just really wants to make really traditional good beer. And so
What a weird concept.
So I think that's what's awesome about it, because I feel like we can kind of push him to do more hype beer, whatever the hell you want to call it, style stuff, but he'll still do it in this really elegant way, I think. And that's where it's the magic happens, where it's not overdone. Yeah, it's still kind of what people are looking for in that style, but something you're not embarrassed about, for lack of a better word, So yeah.
Very nice. We got two more things to touch on before we get to the final four. First of all, people who are watching are probably looking at these two pizzas and going, why are there pizzas and nobody's talking about it? Cody, for the people listening on audio, these pizzas are round and thin, and they were made in an oven. One has cheese and pepperoni on it. The other has pickled onions and pork shoulder and some sesame seeds and a little jalapenos because it's a banmitza. Yeah.
So how many sides does it have?
The pizza has a top and a bottom.
What about the side?
There are no sides because this is Tavern-Style, so it is so
then it's
cracker
two-dimensional?
thin.
It lacks a dimension?
That's correct.
Yeah,
Carl Sagan.
It took a lot of time and effort to get to that two-dimensional.
Yeah.
But we did it.
A lot of time and effort, not a lot of time and space.
That's what.
Yeah.
That is why Noon Whistle not only famous for their hazies and their other beers, but for their two-dimensional pizza.
Wow.
Which is a first in the Chicago market.
It's impressive.
There's only.
I think it's still three-dimensional.
Well,
I'm just gonna say.
Okay.
So you can say what you want, Jardinier.
Yeah.
But I don't have to agree with it or echo it. So this is. You guys are known for your beers, obviously.
Yeah.
But now the Lombard location, the brew pub, is also becoming known for the pizzas, which is why we have some pizzas out
We
here.
spent a lot of time working on these goddamn pizzas.
I'm going to spend a lot of time eating them pizzas, you know what I mean?
It's been
gonna say,
awesome,
how bad can it be?
honestly.
Yeah.
It's been amazing. I've done multiple beer tastings. I'm not a swish and spit sort of guy. Okay?
Yep.
Right?
Hang on, let that one marinate
Yeah.
for a minute.
And that's why beer is better than wine.
Hey! He's
Said the
not
guy,
wrong.
said
He
the
has
guy
like
who
actually a
compared
serious
his
point.
silver medal winning
He
beer from
has a
FOBAB to
serious
wine.
point. But we literally did pizza tastings to perfect our crust, our sauce, the bake time, absolutely every single aspect of this pizza, to the point where I've never done a pizza tasting before. Like, I've never gotten to the point where I'm just chewing a pizza and spitting it out, but you just can only physically eat so much pizza.
I haven't hit that spot, but I
Well,
believe you.
It happens.
Dude, it's a thing.
It's fun. It's funny. It looks so simplistic.
It does look,
and yet we took a lot of time to come up
look
with
at
it.
the thinness of this crust.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
cracker thin.
We took a lot of time.
I actually had this one. This is the banh mitza.
I actually had the pepperoni. Did we do that on purpose? Did we bring out the two pizzas that you and I happened to have earlier tonight?
no.
We didn't ask.
No,
It's just like,
Joe just put in the orders, and this is it.
That's so
That is strange.
random.
Is the exact pizzas? Wow.
I ate the entire thing. It was, well,
I did.
my kids stole a little bit of mine, but I would have eaten the whole
I
thing.
gave two pieces of mine away, and I ate the rest.
That was
But ultimately, we sampled a lot of different pizza in Chicago. Everyone was born and raised close to Chicago. I was born in Chicago, and it's kind of what pizza is like what you were born and raised.
Yep.
And like that's ultimately what pizza is. And like so, whatever you like, or sweet or less sweet or spicier or whatnot, we wanted it to be what we like.
Yes.
And we did a lot of sampling of different pizzas.
it was tough. It was a lot of work.
We
Yeah.
gained a few pounds, but we also worked with the local pizza place, or the pizza training. It's a North American Pizza Culinary Institute,
Yep.
Oh wow.
which is in Lyle.
Really?
And we worked with them for a day or two, or three. And we went through the type of dough we want, the type of sauce we want, the type of cheese we want. There's a lot that goes into it, and a lot of similarities with beer. But also it's passion and a lot of fun, and yeast and we
water in the dough.
and,
Oh,
see,
stop it.
but ultimately, we don't use any grain from the beer because it does not add anything for the pizza.
And let's be honest, there are very few combinations that can top beer and pizza. Beer and pizza go together, whatever you want to add your own analogy here.
Absolutely.
Right. Before we go, Cody would kill me if I did not bring up Pause Plus.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cody has, you've said you've bought this and brought it home for yourself.
Yeah.
Explain what Pause Plus is, and there are a couple different levels of Pause Plus.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, like I think I said earlier, the craft beer drinker, I think the drinking habits of many have changed, and there's a lot of alternative beverages out there. I mean, you could talk about NA, and once upon a time, I think NA had such a small segment of the beverage world, and now it's growing tremendously, which has triggered a lot of other beverages, and one being we do hemp derived beverages, alternative beverages. So we have a CBD variation of a sparkling water, and then we do hemp derived THC sparkling water. So ours is truly a sparkling water base. We say zero everything, zero sugar, zero calories, zero. It's zeros across the board. So it's, think of that kind of that LaCroix concept.
Okay.
But it has, whether you want to be non-intoxicating, we have one that's just CBD, and or intoxicating, which is hemp derived THC. To your point, there's 3 levels. So we do a 2.5 milligram, a 5 milligram, and a 10 milligram.
Okay.
And that's, I think we were kind of early on, at least in Chicago. We started dabbling around with hemp-derived beverages and started talking about like 22. Really started doing stuff in 23. We went to THC, hemp-derived THC in 24. But we were pretty early. And then, in the last, let's call it year or so, but it's probably been about 2 years. It's really obviously picked up a lot of steam, not only just here locally, but I mean, nationwide. And I mean, it's a brand that, like I said, we've been doing, but we go to market with now. We distribute. We have distribution partners. We're hoping it's done the right way, right? It's a legitimate category. There's a lot we could talk about what's going on politically with it, et cetera. But we need to be smart about it. It needs to be age regulated. It needs to have people need to understand it.
Tap room, or is it only canned to go?
No, it's can to go, but we do sell it in the tap room.
Okay.
We have some limitations on it. Our staff is trained and, how much we want folks to drink. Much like thinking about, how much can you consume with an alcohol perspective. We try to have the same mindset.
That was kind of the, sorry.
Yeah,
That's kind of the whole point of the like lower dosage where it's more of like a social beverage.
Yeah.
You're not necessarily just eating a gummy that's 50 milligrams and you're like blasted into space and put on, I don't know, some crazy movie, Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, right.
So that was like originally why we started with a lower dosage was, you
back to our session concept.
Maybe 2.5 milligrams obviously like doesn't totally get you super high, but you can hang out and have a couple of them, and we're just trying to cultivate.
You said that's with every beverage that you guys serve.
Exactly,
Right.
and that is like the whole point.
We find a lot of folks they're gravitating right now. I think it's THC familiar folks. They're gravitating to the higher milligrams, but I mean, think if we wanted to make it the successful category, think about beer. We always joke and not a joke actually. I mean, we just say like, do you have a beer and get drunk? Like generally speaking, no. I mean, maybe you are that individual, but that was the mindset behind like a lower dose too, with the THC, the hemp derived THC. That it's a social. We want it to be a social, beverage and have 2, 3, slowly work your intoxication level up to what you're comfortable with.
If you don't want to drink, but you want to go out and, be social with everyone and it's like, it almost looks like a beer in your hand. It's like, you don't have to answer that question of just like, oh, like, what are you drinking? It's just like, we're hanging out too, man,
Everybody's drinking. How different is it to make that than it is to make any of the other beers that you brew?
Much easier.
Is it really?
Yeah, I mean, so early on, we have the right equipment, and early on, we started with a company called Source, and we were working with them on the hop side originally, and that's how we got turned on to it they had some CBD emulsion, and the CBD actually I was already using some CBD, my ADD and so on and so forth. It helped me concentrate and sit down and be able to look at stuff. Good. And that's our original Pause. And that's how we started with Pause. Nice. And it's 20 milligrams of CBD. And I think Pause helps people in a lot of different ways with whether it's your joints or your, but it helps me be able to have one less cup of coffee in the morning.
Okay.
I have 1 cup of coffee now and I have 1 CBD drink and I can sit down on a computer and actually respond to Mike.
And have fun with this.
It's amazing.
And have fun with the Excel.
No, but this is just CBD, right? So CBD, people are like, when am I going to feel it? I'm like, you're not going to feel it.
Right.
It's mine. It's just like, okay, I can sit down and it relaxes my brain a little bit and just says, okay, like I can do some normal things. That's how we got started into it. And then the THC came about because it's like, okay, well, THC is fun as well too. And how cool is it that it's also
more fun.
It's a lot more fun. I don't do this during the day, but unless it's noon, and then of course,
of those days. Unless it's tiny box day, and then it's.
But in all reality, the lower dose comes from having some responsibility, having kids, having life, having being a responsible adult. Is a lot comes with that, and I think there's a lot of people that are scared. Like, oh, I did try weed one time. And, and the one thing is that like, and that's fine. And if you don't want to do it, that's great. Sure. But with this emulsion, with this THC, it's broken down. So the molecules are broken down there. So it's smaller. So it gets into your bloodstream faster. Okay. So as you're drinking this 12-ounce beer or 12-ounce, THC drink, you're going to feel it within 10 to 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Like other gummies, if your body's going to process it and you're going to take a 10 milligram or 5 milligram, or there's 1 milligram, THC gummies, you're going to feel it within an hour. Right.
Okay.
So with drinking it, it's a lot better because it's broken down. It can enter your bloodstream faster, which is more like alcohol.
Right.
And that's why there's some similarities, and you know your limit. You know how fast you're going to feel it.
Yep.
And how cool is that, right? So at a social setting, how do you know what you're going to feel? Because if I'm going to take it now, you have to plan for that.
Yeah.
But now if you're going to feel it in 10 to 15 minutes, that's just like alcohol. And that's why there is such a close relationship with beer and this THC drinks that a lot of more people are drinking. And a lot of people truly aren't talking about that. And that's the fun part about it. And you can have a lot more self-control if you can feel it faster.
I mean, disclaimer, it does affect everybody slightly differently, but yes.
These statements have not been endorsed by the FDA.
But, you know, I mean,
Corey, you liked it.
It's really tasty.
Yeah.
It's really tasty.
Yeah, I mean, we right now have 3 flavors and we're pretty proud of it. Like, we really wanted to have something that was, you know, just like we said before, it was zero everything, but just very easy to drink. It is, you know, that take a break type of, we have a sign, take a break with benefits. It really is take a break, whether it be you're, you know, from alcohol or just in general. But yeah, I mean, the drinking world and from a beverage standpoint has changed. So, you know, we always have been a company that's, you know, tries to innovate, you know, tries to adapt. And this is one way we're doing it.
Well, a lot of evolution in Noon Whistle over the past 10 years. I'm sure the next 10 will bring even more.
A quick producer note, though.
Yeah.
If you do get too high and you got to put something on, you don't watch Reefer Madness.
Little aged, but
I
Yeah,
know.
right? But I want to watch a movie where if I take one hit, I'm going to kill everybody in the room.
Sure.
That's what I want to learn, and then throw somebody out the window.
That's always good.
That's what I'm.
I'm just saying.
I've never seen Reefer Madness. I got to watch it now.
Okay, you gotta watch.
Professional producer note, if you do get too high and you got to put something on the TV, go to youtube.com, search for Norm MacDonald. Watch anything that comes up. It doesn't matter.
Oh, I
it
thought you
doesn't
were going to
matter.
plug the podcast.
Norm on no. Watch Norm MacDonald.
All right.
Watch him on Conan. Watch him at the YouTube Awards. You watch him on his show. And Norm MacDonald.
Now, those comments have been endorsed by the Food and Drug Administration.
yes,
Cody is
exactly.
100% on. Well, Mike, thanks again to Paul Kreiner, Mike Condon, and no relation, Joe Condon, a.k.a. Joe Jardinera. You heard it here, folks. It is time for the Final Four. We ask the same 4 questions of all our guests. Feel free to jump in with your answers. The first one, mostly for you, Paul, maybe a little for Mike, but the hill you'll die on. A beer style that while people may be clamoring for it, some uneducated beer trolls might be saying, why does a Noon Whistle brew this? For whatever reason, no, it will never come out of your tanks.
Cream ale.
Really?
I will. I've said this since day one. I will never
really loud with this.
make
too.
a cream ale.
Wow, why? And I was just on our
Cream ale.
last interview talking about cream ale and how much I like cream ale, even though I know it's not really a style. I'm not telling you to make one. I'm just, what is it about cream ale that you are so militant? And I love the commitment.
I could answer that question for you.
Every brewery personnel could have answered
Everybody
that
in the
question.
place just went, hold on.
No, I mean, so I really think it is a sloppier style of a blonde ale. I like, there are better styles to make. A cream ale just sounds disgusting.
More than
Peter Coccus?
Peter Coccus?
There it is. Ding.
No, I mean, it's not just that. I think it's a sloppy style. I think that there's different different representations of it. Sure, have I had a good one or two? Yes. Unfortunately, I don't want to say that, but I think it is not a good style. I think it's a style that should be ripped out of this entire, it's a fake style.
Okay.
And,
Well, yeah, even the place we were that I really enjoyed it, that brewer said, this isn't really a style.
It's a fake stuff.
And I, going back to it, like if I'm going to drink a blonde ale or clean, crisp, like a light lager or anything like that, or a blonde ale, which I think is a better representation of a style that, that's down that lane, a cream ale, why are you going to put something in there that makes a blonde ale taste creamier? That's disgusting. Like, it's disgusting.
You know the story, right?
Cody, this was a hot take.
You guys know the story, right, with cream ales? Cream ales were invented by marketers because they thought it sounded great.
Yeah, but really, because Genesee,
that's where they
when I was
messed
in
up.
college, I drank a lot of Genesee cream ale, And that's how their whole thing is cream ale.
I mean, there's
That's
some
probably a
breweries
great
that are
one.
doing them and very
Yeah.
successful with them. Yeah.
But not
But it's like-
Noon
Or,
Whistle.
yeah.
Okay.
And nothing against them.
They're
But
doing
Paul,
a great.
darn
They're
it,
doing a great job
does
at
not
making
wanna
a
make
cream
one.
ale. But what is that?
I don't know.
Thank you.
But what,
I rest my
all right,
case.
So how,
It's disgusting.
if someone came in here, Paul, and you happen to be, not that you're behind the bar a lot, but if you happen to be behind the bar and you heard somebody order a cream ale, how quickly do you toss them out and tell them never to darken your door again?
They're already gone.
Really?
They're already gone. No,
I'd
no,
like
no,
a
no,
cur-
no, no.
No, he's not like that.
No, I just need to educate and tell them that they're idiots.
Sit down.
No, the best part about it is we always talk about like everybody like throughout the years have picked a beer and made a beer. Like they try to, develop a beer with Paul. I don't know if I've ever done that. And I jokingly say that the one I'm going to pick is going to be a cream ale.
And our third partner, Jim, that is not here and that's not active anymore. When we go out, I swear he drinks a cream ale whenever he can find one on purpose.
I would drink, in your presence, I would drink nothing but cream ale.
And I would appreciate that.
All right. Question number 2. A beer that you brewed or that you've had here at Noon Whistle might have been popular, but for whatever reason, or might have just not worked at all, but for whatever reason, you're never going to brew it again.
Popular, but never again.
I know.
Or it could have
Firstborn.
been you thought it
Firstborn.
was gonna be
Oh,
Firstborn.
yeah, well,
Firstborn.
because you-
Firstborn was our first beer that we ever made,
Okay.
and I screwed it up. So
It's not a good
people
start.
loved it, though. I mean, people loved it. It was crazy. We had a person that came in, filled a crowler our second week open, and took a picture and posted it on our social media as he had his firstborn child in the delivery room.
Yeah, that was
It was
actually-
insane.
Yeah.
That's
I
Never
thought you
make
were going to
that
say
beer again.
Yeah.
Never- no,
I thought you were going to say a beer that like we didn't like.
could be a beer you didn't like.
That's cumbersome for me. It's a beer that we just a bunch of cucumbers and it's a cucumber basically saison, right? If I remember this beer correctly.
I
And
love it. He hates it.
I'm not a big fan of cucumbers, especially in liquid. And I remember I had to go out and try to sell that and everybody would be like, I'd be like, yeah, nah, this beer is great. And then eventually they'd be like, so what do you think of it? And I'd be like, okay, really, I don't like it.
You should have said
But
refreshing.
people-
It's refreshing.
Yeah, no, I didn't say that, but yeah, it was made with 99 cucumbers.
Because you dropped one.
Well, I did drop one.
About
It-
100.
It was
you
supposed to be
dropped
100.
one.
I
You're
like the
feeling it.
99 cucumber.
But anyway,
Sounds better.
I could do without. But there are people that love that beer. I don't.
Didn't like it. All right, these next, the final 2 are for all 3 of you. We're going to go lightning round. We're going to start with your go-to off-the-clock beer. It could be a Noon Whistle beer. It could be any beer, whatever you're off the clock. Joey Giardineri, you're up first.
This one's easy. Boopity boppity.
That is the Italian.
Italian pills, man.
Nice.
Yeah. I just think it's perfectly hoppy, super drinkable, and just like a perfect Italian pills.
Good answer, Mike.
Cosmo Pale Ale. It is my absolute favorite beer that we do. And it saddens me that more people do not drink it. But it is amazing.
Uneducated swine.
Hoppers and Blue
Hoppers and
is my favorite beer that I've ever made.
Wow,
Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah.
But what makes it your favorite? That's got to be like picking your favorite child.
I love IPAs, and I can drink IPAs all night long. And
Let's put that to the test.
it's a beer that, well, maybe not that ABV, but it's a beer that that I'm very proud of, and
Nice.
I made it for myself, unfortunately, and I hope everyone loves it, just like
There you
I
go.
It's a very good beer.
All right, and our final question of the final 4, your favorite food and beer pairing. We'll start with you, Paul.
Pretzel and cheese, but the soft cheese. It's got to be the yellow fake cheese that
That's-
everyone loves.
That's the food.
Yep.
What's the beer?
Oh,
boobity bobbity.
Boobity bobbity. All right. Joe?
I mean, beer and pizza.
Beer and pizza. All right.
We kind of already talked about it. I know it's kind of like plucking the low-hanging fruit, but
That's true.
it's the
What-
perfect
do you have
combo.
a particular beer that you like better with pizza? Don't say boobity bobbity again. It's very delicious, but you must have something else.
That is legitimately like the combo for me, honestly. It's like the hops. The hops and boobity bobbity like add this like peppery spice that is like literally perfect with beer. But with pizza. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, we'll leave it at that.
I'm lame.
And finally, Mike, your favorite food and beer pairing.
I mean, it's going to be pizza for sure. Generally, it's probably pepperoni. I don't mind onion and green pepper, but yeah, you throw some garlic in there, you're hitting a home run. And I would say Cosmo, but since that was already said, because that's my favorite beer. I mean, just an IPA in general, and anything hop forward with pizza, I think is great.
Very good. All right. Well, we are about to our final toast, but once again, I want to thank Paul Kreiner, co-owner and brewmaster of Noon Whistle. We talked to Mike Conrad, who is also a co-owner of Noon Whistle, handles the sales, the businessy kind of stuff. And then there's Joe Condon, no relation, has an alternate ego. We don't know why. Is he in the witness relocation program? Is he wanted by the law? Is he dodging paternity suits up and down the Midwest? We don't know, and quite frankly, we don't care.
Brian, did you say Mike Conrad?
Did I say Conrad?
I think you might have said
I didn't
Conrad.
hear that.
Okay.
I was going to let it slide.
I said Robert Conrad, who's dead and used to have a battery on his shoulder. Mike Condon, Joe Condon, no relation. I was tired of the same last names, so I gave Mike a new last name.
I was going with it.
I can't have the same name, everybody with the same names and the same beer answers.
It's weird.
I don't like it.
It's just weird.
So for the end of this episode, it's Paul Conrad, the weatherman from WGN, and Mike Connors, who played Mannix in the 70s. They had a bastard child, and it is Mike Conrad,
This is getting deeper.
who is one of the co-owners of Noon Whistle. Fix that in editing, bitch. So
Absolutely not.
That's going to make the reel.
yes, I apologize, Mike. Mike Conrad. No, it's Mike Condon.
Before we get to our final toast, can I tell the viewers how they can support the show?
Yeah, please. But no, I'm going to tell them first to support your local breweries. Because guys like Mike Conroy, Rad, Rod, Nad, Condon, and Joe Giardinera.
That one's
All right.
easy to remember.
I hit it.
No, because I called you Giordano earlier, but Cody didn't catch me with that one. Gentlemen, things are happening up here that shouldn't be happening.
We're not happening. That should be happening.
I mean, it's past 9.
That's
Honestly,
Mike
he's
Condon.
probably
Let's
should be sleeping.
move on. That's Mike Condon.
Who
That's
am
Joe
I? What's my name?
I'll tell you your name, Slim Shady.
What does that mean?
Couple guys. I think everybody
Okay,
knows.
all right, let's do it.
All right.
Please support your local brewery.
Support your local brewery. In all seriousness, it is tough for a lot of your favorite breweries, so they need your support. So go out, drink beer at your local breweries, tip the staff, make sure you're buying their stuff in the stores, because as Mike Condon said, as opposed to Mike Conrad, he had nothing to add to this show.
Yeah, he sucks.
Mike Conrad? Right there for Mike Conrad.
Yeah,
he
that
should just
guy.
be making cream ales and hanging out with horse blankets. I, for one, if Mike Conrad was here, throat punch.
Oh,
F Mike Conrad.
I
That's
am
your
on
new
the same
t-shirt.
page.
Yeah, Mike Conrad's a jag.
he's an idiot.
But
New style.
this is serious. But again, in all seriousness, support your small breweries. They're the lifeblood. As Cody said, this is his local brewery. Somebody else is your local brewery. Go and support them. Take care of it. Crafty Brewers Tales Behind Craft Beer is produced by award-winning podcast producer and nitpicker when it comes to making a mistake on names, Cody Goff.
Hey.
Cody, always fantastic.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Cody. You're great.
Support your crafty brewers, too.
Was that?
Support your crafty brewers as well.
Support, well, yeah, we're going to get to that. And you know how they can support us, Paul? You can visit our website.
I'll actually let
You
the people
tell us
know.
that.
We have tiers now. We have different. There's levels. There's
we
levels,
do?
Brian. There's levels.
This is news to
You can
me.
support us for free by leaving a comment on this YouTube video, because YouTube likes when people leave comments. We have a Patreon because everybody has a Patreon. Podcasts have to have a Patreon. We don't have sponsors. We're 100% listener funded. And if you want to get involved in supporting your favorite creators, instead of spending another $10 a month on another streaming service that's just going to split in half next month, then rebrand itself to what it used to be branded, then rebrand itself to something new, then get bought by Netflix. Not that I'm speaking from experience. Then you can go ahead and find our Patreon page on our... You didn't hear about that?
Topical, dude. Topical.
Thank you. This
Yeah.
guy gets it.
But yes, please support us. We hope you enjoy the show. Thank you for listening to this point, and thank you for leaving comments. I want to get Paul's... Paul, what does it say right there? I got it typed out right there, doesn't it?
Says Mike Conroy.
Mike Conroy, right.
Nailed it.
Does it actually?
Thanks again to Paul Kreiner. Not Crybaby, that's wrong. There's a whole different thing. Paul Kreiner, he's the co-owner and head brewer here at Noon Whistle. Mike Condon, Condon.
Nailed it.
All capitals, perfect enunciation. Mike Condon is co-owner, and Joe Condon, or Joey Jardinera,
No relation.
No relation. He handles all the marketing and the creatives here at Noon Whistle. Now, it is time for our final toast.
All right, this is the unpoured extra glass we had of I don't know. It was on the tray over there. I think it's the
Or is it blue?
it's
see,
the
he
it's
can
the
smell
hazy.
it.
It's
He
the
always
hazy.
rubs it
So
in.
there was that. So I poured a little in my glass because I was out. I didn't have anything left for the final toast.
Nailed
I
it.
see some empty glasses over there. Who else needs some of this for their final
well,
toast?
yeah, you got a whole can. We're ready.
Yo, we got cans back there. That's fine. We'll put it over there if anybody.
All right,
needs
if anybody needs it. All right. Well, I'm Brian Noonan. Thanks for joining us. It is time for our final toast. What are we toasting today? We will start with Mike Condon.
Oh, I got to come up with what we're toasting today.
Your toast. Everybody's going to have a little toast.
Day drinking.
Day drinking. Support day drinking.
Support day drinking, please.
Joe?
Night drinking.
Night drinking. We support night drinking. Paul?
Here's to friends and family.
Here's to
That's what it's all about.
family.
All right.
That was a good one.
Here's to being able to roll with mispronunciations and good sports and good cheer.
What about your toast?
What am I doing here? What am
I don't acknowledge you anymore.
I had two toasts.
Well, let's hear them.
One's that the camera battery didn't die somehow because we went over, and
we went way along.
two is to me for the editing nightmare this is going to be.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll toast to
Hey, we'll give you some beer in a
Hashtag worth it. Worth it.
Cheers.
Wait,
Cheers.
clink again for the final sound effect.
All right.
You gotta all
Cheers.
do it one more time.
clink.
Everybody, love that sound effect.
Cheers.